Julius Malema, welcome to Hard Talk.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, Mr. Malema. We are speaking as South Africa is in the middle of an energy crisis. It seems set to get worse. What do you think it is doing to this country?
Well, its aim is to collapse this country and undermine the democratic project because those in power have relegated their responsibilities to who we don't know. They've not maintained the power stations. They've not built the new ones that are functional. And as a result, we are where we are.
The interim CEO of Eskom, the state-owned energy company, said yesterday that over the coming months of winter, they might get to a stage 8 situation, which means there could be power cuts for pretty much 12 or more hours per day. But you have gone further. You have said that you think the grid will collapse. In fact, you said South Africa is going to be plunged into darkness within 2 weeks. Why are you exaggerating?
I'm not exaggerating. I said this before they told you there was a stage 8 coming. The stage 8 is to prepare you that the worst are coming. And I'm telling you the truth as is. What is it that can avoid the collapse of the grid, which they've done in between? Which station have they built that is functional to its expectation? Which station have they maintained? Have they said, this one, we're closing it down, we're going to engage in major maintenance of this station? Nothing major has been done.
But your statements could spread panic. Is that what you want?
No, I'm not spreading panic. I'm telling the truth. Stage 8, they are just being polite. We're going to go, and you are talking hours, we're going to go days without electricity. It's a reality that we need to deal with, even after announcing stage 8. The manner they did. Which ANC politician have you seen panicking? Which president have you seen calling the nation into
failing to work? It is not delivering power to the people. We have other major state-operated companies, for example, Transnet in the transport and logistics sector, which are failing the people of South Africa. One, we could look at the aviation sector, all sorts of sectors where the state has failed. And yet your message is you still want to confiscate all privately owned land, essentially nationalize all privately owned land. You want to nationalize the mines, you want to nationalize the banking sector, and these are the key pillars of South Africa's economy. You want them all in state hands, and you, Julius Malema, are saying to the South African people, elect me, and I and my associates in the economic freedom fighters will run this economy.
Absolutely. You know, 95% of South Africa is electrified. Do you know that South Africa gets water today? Do you know that South Africans, they're watching a public broadcaster? All these examples I've given you are state-owned.
But do you know that we have seen this experiment played out in other countries? I'm thinking of Zimbabwe, I'm thinking of Venezuela, and the model does not look good to many South African people who see it.
No, it looks good. We're using it now. We were better off now owning this. It's not like I'm saying, let's go and take Eskom out of the hands of the private sector. We are owning it already. So, and then South Africans have accepted and are happy with what
You're
we have.
owning it already, and it's a complete mess.
That's why South Africans are saying, let's get proper people to go and run these institutions.
Are you the proper person?
I'm a proper guy.
I mean, I don't want to go too far back into history, but at various times you failed to actually file a tax return on time. Yeah. You've been accused of different financial offences. You've never been convicted, but some of those charges were never brought to court. But you tell South Africans, despite your own history, you are the guy to run their economy.
That's why. That's a mind of a lazy person who doesn't do his work. You will have to refer back to 15 years. I've grown up over a period of time, build a solid political party. The only thing you can keep on referring to is what you interviewed me about it 12 years ago. Get something new, my brother.
No, I'm very...
Show a skill of a hard-working presenter who does his research. You can't falter me. Since I've made my mistakes on tax when I was very young, when I was almost 27 years old, fixed that problem. Today, I'm a 42-year-old married man with children who has taken responsibility and built a solid party to be the third largest party without the support of white monopoly capital and the owners of the South African economy. You keep on referring to old things because you are now beginning to sound like a scratched CD.
You have every right to tell
Tell
me
me of me now.
you have changed.
Tell me of me now. I've been in parliament for 10 years.
Let's take one particular aspect of your policy positions.
Yes.
Do you think aligning yourself with Vladimir Putin is going to be good for South Africa?
But that's what it is now. South Africa is in alliance with Russia, with India, with Brazil, with China. So why are you asking me as if it's some policy that is going to be implemented
South Africa right
after
now,
I took over? South Africa is in alliance with Russia now.
South Africa right now calls itself non-aligned.
In the context of the war, but these are two different things. South Africa is an ally of Russia. Now, the second question is, where does South Africa stand on the war? It says I'm a non-aligned in relation to war, but Russia remains South Africa's friend. So we cannot create confusion around there. Don't create an impression that it is Malema who's going to come and create an alliance with Russia.
But there are some very specific...
Actually, I will
so.
go beyond that. I will go beyond the friendship with Russia, and in the war, I will align with Russia, and I will even supply the weapons to Russia. Because Russia is in a war with imperialism, and any agenda that seeks to push back imperialist agendas, it's well within the policies of the EFF.
You say, quite clearly, I would arm Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
You know that the International Criminal Court wants Vladimir Putin to face war crimes charges.
It must start with Tony Blair. It must start with George Bush. It must go to Barack Obama. Then it can go to Putin.
So let's get this straight. You're saying to me that your policy, if you were in power in South Africa, is quite simple. That your enemy's enemy, and it seems you regard the US and its allies as the enemy,
Yes.
your enemy's enemy
Yes.
is your friend. Never mind if he's a suspected war criminal, never mind if the UN and the ICC say they have compelling evidence of Russian war crimes. You don't care. As far as you're concerned, my enemy's enemy is my friend.
You're exaggerating, but another point which you don't want me to go there is that Tony Blair accepted that they were wrong about Saddam Hussein to an extent that he did an apology of a thug, right? You have never called for his arrest. A man admitting that I was wrong. To how many people died there, killed by those people. So all I'm saying is we are with President Putin because it's not enemy of my enemy. It is an anti-imperialist agenda that says the American dominance and its allies should be undermined at all costs.
Anti-imperialism, even though Vladimir Putin is quite explicit about his desire to revive a form of empire. He says countries like Ukraine have no right to independent sovereign existence. He appears to believe that the best thing would be to revive an empire, the Soviet empire. But you're anti-imperialist?
We are anti-imperialist. That's a debate for another day. The war is not what he's talking. The war is about the expansion. And had there been a common ground found, this could have been avoided. We are not for imperialism, even if it were to come from Russia. If he does that, we'll condemn it. But we know for a fact that progressive forces such as China have also aligned themselves with Putin to try and create an alternative from the imperialist domination of the world. And that's what the EFF is about.
You admire China, you admire, it seems, Putin. What you seem to have as a vision for South Africa's future is much more along those lines, authoritarianism than democracy.
No, socialism is not authoritarianism.
So how can you describe China as progressive?
No, it's very progressive. China subscribed to Leninism and Marxism, where the working class control the commanding heights of the economy. And that's what we subscribe for. We are of the means of production being owned and controlled by the states. We want South Africa through the vision and the image of China, where you grow the economy, where you reduce unemployment, where you reduce poverty, and you can't take that away from China. And the state plays the central role with regard to that.
That kind of message and the messaging on Russia has seen the rand plunge against the US dollar. Hang on, we see many corporations in South Africa looking at establishing headquarters elsewhere. We see foreign direct investment flatlining in this country. Do you believe that the rhetoric you are using is good for the South African economy?
I've been doing this from when you interviewed me 15 years ago, when I was young. And therefore, you can't say the rand to dollar crisis today is created by this message that I've been spreading for so many years, from my early ages. And then this
No,
party
but what I'm
has been
suggesting is that the new
party-
tensions between Washington and the government in South Africa have definitely affected the financial markets.
No, it was the crisis as we see it today, as we have this conversation, me and you. It was worsened by the irresponsible utterances by the ambassador of the USA, who just recklessly, without following the diplomatic protocols, went out to make certain allegations about our country, damaging its good image, and then undermining its sovereignty in terms of choosing who its friends are. And today we see the rand being weak because of such utterances. Why would the rand be weakened by a political posture that says this is what we want to be when we take over government? We want a government that will be owned by the corrupt free. I admire China when it comes to how it deals with crime. I admire China when it comes to how it deals with infrastructural development. I admire China on how it has dealt with poverty and unemployment. How would that weaken the rand? Is that not what the investors want for all of us?
The most likely way that you can get a grip on some power in this country is by forming a coalition with the ANC after the next election. You could have a role if you were to do a deal with the ANC. Are you ready to do it?
The reality is that the EFF is the only organization that is growing, and that the DA and the ANC, the DA, which is the official opposition, ANC, which is the ruling party, are both significantly declining to a point where the DA called us the enemy number one. Why did they do so? Their own internal research tells them that the EFF has overtaken you. That's how much our policy position has attracted the people of South Africa. We are not going into coalition for positions. We are going to say anyone who wants to work with us, and we've said this before, and that's why we're not working with anyone in the local governments. If you want to work with us, you are going to expropriate land without compensation. You are going to nationalize the mines. You are going to establish a state-owned bank. You are going to make sure that we fight crime, fire by fire, to make this country a safer place. Those are just but minimal, non-negotiable points that will engage with anyone who wants to work with us.
All of that,
non-negotiable.
non-negotiable. On that basis, it's hard to imagine you can make a coalition with anyone.
ANC was more than willing. Actually, ANC was at a point of signing with us on expropriation of land without compensation. Remember, we even put this in Parliament. How did it pass to a point where Parliament had to do an investigation if the ANC was not agreeing? We were almost at the edge of getting a deal. And some young ANC clowns decided to vote against this. But we're not going to retreat in returning the land back into the hands of our people. And don't tell me about Zimbabwe. This is going to be done through a democratic means, like we did, in consultation with all South Africans, black and white, on how best do we get the rest of our people owning the land and other strategic sectors of the economy.
You know there are some South Africans, and let us be blunt, many white South Africans who fear Julius Malema. Some of them have said to me, if Malema gets to power or close to power, I will leave this country. Do you welcome their fear, or do you want to find ways to overcome their fear?
I don't welcome their fear. Stephen, they said that about Mandela, the most celebrated Mandela. You're talking about me. They said if Mandela, a prisoner, becomes the president who will live in this country, and they left. I was in the Vaal River the other day, looking at some of the houses that whites abandoned in 1994 when Mandela became a president. They are not scared of Julius Malema. They are scared of an independent black man who's not controlled by any white person, who's not controlled by London.
Last year, you said this. It was after you'd questioned whether a particular white person, why they hadn't been located and, quote, taken to an isolated space where our supporters could attend to the guy properly. And you went on to say, you must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because killing is part of the revolutionary act.
Absolutely.
This was last year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't say you are a revolutionary and then be scared to kill. But once you go killing people around, you are a terrorist. When you've got the support of the majority of your people to engage in war, and the majority of the people are with you, that is the revolution. It's not terrorism. And therefore, I'm not a terrorist. That's why I'm saying, at least for now, the conditions have not dictated that there should be anyone who should go to the bush and engage in war to kill. But if those conditions necessitate, will without hesitation do that. The same way the generations before us, when conditions necessitated, they were not scared to take up guns and shoot to kill. So I'm not saying anyone must be killed. All I'm saying is, let everybody come to the party. Let's build this one country and give away our privilege for the privilege of all.
Your vision of South Africa's future, will it come through the ballot box, or will it come through what you call a revolution?
It will come through the ballot box. A ballot box that produces a revolutionary party will unleash the revolution. And the revolution, when it is unleashed through democratically elected government, is the changing of the system, where you radically defeat capitalism and introduce a socialist state. We still believe in the EFF, fundamentally so, that the power to the people must be ushered in through the ballot. And nothing else must be looked at except the ballot. However, when the need arises to defend ourselves through whatever means necessary, we'll do so without hesitation.
Julius Malema, sadly, we're out of time, but I thank you very much for joining me on Hard Talk.
Thank you.
Welcome, my good people. This is Kenyan Explorer, and I welcome you to my YouTube space. And we will first dive in this video. And this was an interview of Julius Malema on BBC Chad Talk with Stephen Sakur on domestic and international politics. And he has several facts that he was putting across. And as you know, when this guy was talking, when you are a revolutionary, or even if you have a little mind of a revolutionary leader, you know what he's talking about. And I like Julius Malema because he's a man who talks the facts, and he's not afraid of anything that he's talking about. He know what exactly what he wants, and he know what he's fighting after, what he's fighting for. And that's why this guy is being a fearless man. He's very feared by the people who we so-called people from the West, and who are I can refer them like his enemy. And as he started, the question that he was asked, that There was a time the people from the West or the white people were asked, and what about their reaction on when Julius Malema can come to the power and take over the country of South Africa? And many of them say that when this guy or this man came to power and become the leader of that country, maybe they will leave that country. They will go away from South Africa. And as Julius Malema has responded to this question, as this guy was reacted to this question, is that the people from the West or the white South Africans, these people don't fear Julius Malema, because they said the same thing during the regime of Nelson Mandela, even before he came to power. They said that that when that prisoner came to power, they will leave that country, and most of them left that country, but a few of them are the one who remained in that country, and they don't fear Julius Malema, but they fear an independent black person when he come to power, because as you know, whenever you see a revolutionary leader or a black man came to become a revolutionary and start to fight the people, let me say like the white people or the people from other race, then this guy must be very strong, and you will find that this is a guy who stand by his who sticks with his stance. And Julius Malema is a CFF, economic freedom fighter of South Africa. And as you know, most of the businesses and everything that is ongoing, that is working to build up the economic of South Africa, they are the high percentage of this economy is being driven by the white people. So whenever this guy says that he's going to align and make the best economy in this country, then the whites are the one who are going to face challenges to their businesses. And that's why you find that this guy to become the leader of this country can be very, very hard. Because as we know that in African countries, the politics of African countries, I can call it as they are scam, because all that is happening or going on in the African politics are not they are not being held by the choice of the citizens, but they are being controlled by the system. So the politics of South Africa, they are being controlled by the West. They are being controlled by the system, because when it could have been going as the democratic way as it required to go, then it means that Julius Malema could have been the leader of that country for a very long time, and maybe he would have even retired from that power. So that's why you will find that this guy to take over this country is very hard. And I don't know why, because when you listen from the opinions from the people of South Africa themselves, what they say about Julius Malema, most of them, they don't like this guy. I don't know why. Because most of them call this guy a dictator. Some of them some call him a racist, just because he's fighting for the interests of the black people. And what impressed me so much is that in African countries, the people are, when you take a look of the countries which are having most of the crises and fights within themselves, these people are fighting for themselves. When you take example of the country like Sudan, Somalia, or Congo, these people are not being attacked by the enemies or foreigners, but most of them are fighting themselves. So they can even be able to sit down by themselves and solve the issues that are facing them. But in South Africa, things are different, because the South Africans, the black people of this country, are fighting against the white people, and that is the challenge that is there. So the people from South Africa, the black people, are fighting to retain everything that belongs to them when they are on their land. So how is this sound? They are fighting to restore everything that they believe that it belongs to them, just like land and all the economic things that are going on in these countries. So sometimes I wonder why the people of Africa don't let their issues or their agenda to be driven softly, because at this time, In Africa, we have few revolutionary leaders who have come up strongly and stick by their words. So when you take example of the country like South Africa, we have the president of this country, and we have the opposition leader, who is Julius Malema. This guy is being listened by millions of people. He's controlling a large number of people. So when he come up with anything that he said, then it brings a large impact in this country. So this guy is every day fighting hard on how he can protect the agendas and the interests of the South Africans. But most of the people, including the leader of this country, is going hard against the agendas of Julius Malema. But sometimes we say that it's better to sacrifice at least to make something, at least even if it's 1%, but to make it right. Because when things can go on as it is going on in the country of South Africa, for this country to get freedom and the citizens of this country to enjoy what it belongs to them as the citizens of this country, it will take long. It will take long because during the time Julius Nelson Mandela take over the country of South Africa and become the president, that's when they had the best chance to take and conquer the country of South Africa and put or set up their policies on how to run this country, on how to eliminate some people maybe which they feel like they are threats to them. Some people, some white people are owning the lands in South Africa, but it's very rare to find the black people in South Africa owning things like land. And the priority of a man is to own some things like a land, because if you can own a land, it means that you can be rich and you can control wealth by yourself. Because when you own a land, you can control, you can have many things, you can invest many things from your land. But when you cannot have even a piece of land, then for you to control anything, it's very hard. Because for you even to let the inheritance to your generation or your people, you first of all, what you have to start with is a land. When you have a land, then your generation, it means that you have a strong generation, whereby they will come up, and if you don't have anything else, but you have just that land, they can come up and do some constructive things with that land. So when these issues, when that time Julius Nelson Mandela came to power, that is the time they had best option and best choice to do whatever they wanted to do there with their country. But at this time, it is very hard, because the high percentage of economic that is being driven in this country are being driven by the white people. And when even today we say that we no longer want the white people in South Africa, or we say that it's okay, or they say that it's okay, they are going, or they are relocating from South Africa and go maybe to America. It means that the high percentage of economy of South Africa is going to collapse, because it will take a long time for the South Africans to build up their economy. So at this time, whether we agree or not, the South Africans, the black people from South Africa, they need the white people of South Africa, maybe I can say, for them to survive. So there was a point I was talking about and I extended. So sometimes it's better to sacrifice. The president of South Africa at this time, if he wants the best for his country and for his people, maybe he would have come up and join hands with Julius Malema so that they can work together and join up and stand and introduce their policies, and say that the South Africa, maybe it have to be for the South Africans. So when the other people or the other race want to come and settle in South Africa, they come as the visitors, or they come to invest in this country. They pay taxes. They do anything that is required by the law and policy of the country. This can help a lot in this country, because what is ongoing in this country is not something that is supportive to the black community. Many propaganda and allegations are coming out from this country that the white people are being mistreated. They are being intimidated. Some are being killed. You have had the last just a few days after the leader of this country was invited in America by Donald Trump. He was accused of many things, and he was not being accused alone, but also with Julius Malema, and they are not friends. They don't work together. They are like there is a very big bridge between them. So it's better for them to unite at least to save this country. Then after that, everything will continue going on as it is. Every side, everyone will stand by his side of political issues. But this will come after the unity of these people. Because as per today, the agenda of Africans are one. We all are fighting for the unity of Africans. We have to achieve the dreams of our ancestors, of our freedom fighters. Kwame Nkrumah, Lumumba of Congo, they died trying to unite Africa. And we as Africans, we have realized the history of Africa. And that's why you are seeing what is happening and going on in the countries of Africa. The youth are coming to the streets every day demanding their rights, protesting. All they are doing is to achieve the dreams of their founders, of the revolutionary founders. At this time, the Africans have come to unite. The leaders of this country are the one which now are the problem of the Africans, because they stand by their sides. Everyone is supporting his side. Everyone is supporting his agenda. No one is ready to associate with the other. But this is the only way they can make the dreams of Africa to be achieved. So Julius Malema, this is one of the interview that bring the attention between the South Africa and the whites, or the people from West, because this guy, since he came to power, or he came to the politics, what he has been fighting for is about the elimination of the white people from South Africa, because these people are there. They are this country. These are the country of the black people. Or is the country of in Africa, but it is being controlled by the people who are not blacks. They are the one who are controlling everything in this country. So I like the interview and courage that the Julius Malema has, and if we can have such people in this generation of Africa, maybe we can walk in the same direction, in the same path, and speak one voice, standing by one agenda. Then it can be very, very easy for us to achieve this agenda and make this to happen. But when every politician will come and support his side, since the people like Muammar Gaddafi started fighting for the Africa, since Lumumba of Congo started fighting for Africa, since Kwame Nkrumah started fighting for Africa, it is a very many years ago. It's a very long time past. And generation will come after generation singing the same song, but nothing will happen. No any positive impact will happen to the continent of Africa, and that is the benefit from our opponents. Because when Africans are fighting for themselves, that is what they want. That's what they support. Because when things continue like this, when we remain the same situation, they are having the best access and opportunity to come and loot Africa, take everything that they are doing. Because through these leaders fighting themselves, colliding themselves, there are some leaders who are supporting them, giving them opportunity and chances. So it's better we sacrifice at least for once, and maybe we can achieve and get something best from this. Try to listen to the whole interview of Julius Malema and this and Stephen Shakur on what they were talking about. And I like the courage of this guy because he speaks the facts that Africans need to listen to. And when we do this, then things are going to be well, things are going to be okay. This is Kenyan Explorer. Welcome to my YouTube space. Try to subscribe the channel, maybe turn on notification for all the updates that arise on. We are concerning Africa because we are talking here every day. We are in the same thing because we need the best Africa. We need the best Africa that our freedom fighters were fighting for. We need to leave the legacy that the coming generation will be appreciative for it, will be happy for it, but not the generation that will come, that will continue being colonized each and every day as it was during the time of our ancestors. So stay tuned until next episode. Maybe you can speak out your views on the comment section, and we'll have to discuss about it because we love Africa. And stay tuned.